Hello everybody, welcome to Your Capital, What's Up? I'm Chuck Wiger, your area state senator. Thank you very much for watching. Today we're going to learn about Century College's foundation, and with us is the executive director of the foundation, Jill Greenhalgh. Thank you.
Hi, Chuck.
And the college has had the foundation, I believe it started in about 1973. And has done so many wonderful things. Please tell us about the foundation, its start and where it's at right now. Just some highlights, and then we'll get into some of the specifics.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Senator Chuck Wiger, for having me here. I really appreciate it. The foundation is part of the college, and yet it's a separate entity in that we are our own 501c3 nonprofit. We are the vehicle through which people can make charitable gifts to the college and have a direct benefit to the students and the programs and the facilities. And so we started in a very humble way, just like the college, when it used to be Lakewood College, yes. I know, and then 916 years ago. Yes. And over the years, what we have done is add many new scholarships, add funds to support the individual programs, and help with some of the needs of the facilities. And so today, we're able to give out scholarships to hundreds of students and to help hundreds of students who have emergency needs. And we have a vision to doing bigger and better things in the future as well.
And you have a great website. It talks a bit about the mission. You have a board of directors. Again, it's separate from the college, but the mission is to serve the needs of the college in areas like scholarships and other opportunities. You have a governing board, though. Tell us how they are selected.
Okay, great question. We couldn't do anything without our dedicated volunteers who serve on the board of directors. So what we do is as part of Century College, we're part of the community. So naturally we draw upon leaders and go-getters in the community to be part of our board. So we have people who are local business leaders, bankers, attorneys. We have an entrepreneur turned philanthropist, you name it, artist. We have all sorts of people who represent the diversity of our community, and there are advisors, there are ambassadors, yes. They tell the story, they connect us to resources, and then they help further the mission, which is helping to transform students and support student success.
Okay. And do they meet every quarter, or how often do they meet?
Well, we meet 5 times a year as a board. One of those times is for our annual strategic planning, where we look back on what we've accomplished, set goals to where we want to go, and measure our own performance. We also, though, have a very robust committees that meet in between, who are trying to work on very specific initiatives to help students in the college. Okay.
What would be some of the major accomplishments? The scholarships is obviously very important, but particular things that you'd like to mention as most memorable over the years?
Well, we have, of course, gotten some sizable gifts. And one of the things that we have is we have a named Kopp Technology Center, yes. Named after Lee and Barbara Kopp, who have been amazingly philanthropic to yes. Century College.
And what a beautiful facility.
Yes, and so that is named in honor of their generosity. Yes. We also have funds. We have one scholarship fund, which is over $160,000. So we have some scholarships. And so that one is invested in the stock market, and the earnings on that then produce multiple scholarships for students every year. So we have things as large as a facility and things as small as individual scholarships.
Okay. And if a student needs some additional resources, how many applications are you going to get? And Century is a very affordable compared to many other colleges, but it still does cost money. And if a student is likely going to have to be working, and still they're going to carry some debt with textbooks and everything. How many applications do you get for student aid versus the amount of money that you can give out?
Well,
how do you do that?
Yeah, so that's we do have the students who need our financial resources vastly exceed the number of awards that we can give for scholarships. So yes. is at least 10 to 1, although sometimes we have certain scholarships where we might have 50 to 70 applicants for each one scholarship awarded. So that is a little bit heart-wrenching, but we have
Well, that's a big ratio.
Yeah.
A lot of need.
a lot of need. And so one of the programs that is fairly new that I wanted to mention to you is something called Tuition Match.
Okay.
And that is a program that the Century College Foundation is doing, along with several of our peer schools in the MnSCU system. And it is a terrific program where we came together as a consortium, worked together, the 5 other schools in Century, applied for a federal grant, got it, and now what we're doing is raising money to match that grant. And here's how it works for a student. So a student is, if they are a low-income student, so for example, if they're a head of household and their income is under $23,000 and they're working, an adult,
Yep.
if they enroll in this program, save up to almost $1,000, it'll turn into $4,000 for tuition.
Great.
So it's a 3-to-1 match. So it's a new tool in our toolkit to help our students succeed. Because as you were mentioned, it is very efficient and very affordable to go to Century, but so many of our students do have significant financial needs. So it's another way to help students who actually work and learn and save and have see their savings tripled.
Do you track the students after they have completed school, or do you find that most will complete their degree program if they've received a scholarship?
Okay, so we actually have one of the questions I think that gets to that is some of our donors will say, I'm making a gift to a student, how do I know it's being invested wisely? So we've done the research to see what is the graduation, or actually we call it persistence rate.
Yes.
If a student persists in pursuing their college education after they get a scholarship, and we find that it is a higher percent, if they get a scholarship, they're much more likely to persist. And
Yes.
so the students, not only do they feel that that money helps them financially, almost equally important is that it helps them psychologically,
Yes.
because they know someone who doesn't even know them believes in them and is investing
Yes.
and is hoping and giving them confidence that they will succeed.
Yeah. There's a variety of fundraisers, I believe, that you have. Would you like to highlight various ways that you raise funds to do these good things?
Sure. And so one of our ways that we do this is very similar to other nonprofits. We engage the community. We have a fundraiser each spring. And the fundraiser, we call it Futures in Bloom. It's a great way for people to come to learn about the college, meet the students, hear firsthand some of their stories of struggle and success,
Yeah.
and then we invite them to make a gift in what I call a low-key and friendly way. Because I think most of us, you might agree, want to be part of something larger than ourselves.
Yes.
And we want to make a difference in the world. And what I love about Century College and the foundation is that it's as if the community and our donors are investors. And so by making a gift, they're investing in the future of people who might be their healthcare providers, might be their mechanics, might be their psychologists, people who live in the community. So we have this fundraiser. People can make a gift online. We also have, we accept gifts of equipment and tools and supplies, so people can give us materials that will help students. And of course, individually we meet with businesses and leaders who make individual gifts. And of course, actually one that is fairly new news is you can leave a gift to the college, the foundation, in your will. And we were the recipients of a very significant gift recently from a fellow in Maplewood who passed away.
Okay. Would you like to mention that estate?
Yes.
And but we can, or I'm sure there'll be appropriate recognition
Yes.
provided, but it's a great way to let one's name, their legacy, whether they want their name attributed to a scholarship, but some planned giving is certainly going to help your mission.
Yes. And so I could tell you specifically about this gift. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay, so a fellow who lived a very modest life. You've maybe heard of a book called The Millionaire Next Door. Well, I don't know if this individual was a millionaire, but his name was John Luger. and he lived very near the college. He lived a modest life.
Yes.
And he left the largest, very frugal life. And through his bequest in his will and his estate, he made a gift to his daughter. He made a gift for his grandchildren so they could go to college. And then he left a very, and other loved ones, and then he left a very large gift, perhaps $750,000, to be used for scholarships.
Wow.
And so that money is to help people. He wanted it to go to working adults who are continuing their education. And so what a legacy.
Yes. Well, thank you to John Luger,
Yes.
and we appreciate that.
Yes.
And in terms of future plans, for the foundation, anything you'd like to share about that? I mean, you have a full plate right now,
Yes.
but any additional things that you might want to tell the viewers about?
Sure. Well, one of the things that is very exciting that's at the college is, of course, that we are constantly upgrading our facilities
Yes.
in order to meet the needs of today's workforce. So one of our areas is our fabrication laboratory, and we have a space that we're calling the maker space. And that's a
Yes.
space that's going to invite the community to come in, and we have 3D printers, we have CAD design, we have experts on staff who are going to be able to work with people, students and the community, as they want to make prototypes, designs, invent things.
This is the Fab Lab.
This
This
is
will
the
be
Fab.
available for the public to come
Yes.
in. That is wonderful.
Yes, and along with that, too, we might invite people who believe in science and technology to make a gift to support the Fab Lab. So as we
Yes.
have these new facilities unfolding and spaces we have several what we call innovation classrooms,
Yes.
which are areas that have the most modern technology to support the learning that will enable our students to be successful today. These are also things that we are raising money for and people could actually have their name on them. If you wanted to
Yes.
have the Senator Chuck Wiger
Oh.
Innovation Classroom, we could certainly talk to you about that.
Okay, well, thanks for possibly.
Yes.
We met the area legislators with some of the faculty and administration recently about the Fab Lab and the great partnership you have with 3M and graduates of Century and a particular program. There's jobs right there. But the business partnerships, that's exactly what you need to do. And then further opening this up to the community is very exciting.
We are so fortunate to have Century College in the East Metro area. It's a tremendous asset, and it's an economic driver. It also, we're producing students who are trained and can become employees. I was just talking with someone who is the head of an economic development corporation in the East Metro, and their businesses are struggling to try to find trained
Yes.
employees. And so we're partnering with the public and the community and businesses in any way that we can to fill that need.
Well, you can provide all the hope in that pipeline to a job, and we've seen that and continue to promote that. So.
One way that actually comes to mind is that this last summer we were able to work with several local businesses to offer paid internships. And so that was a great way to get our students out in these businesses. The businesses paid a $500 stipend, got a qualified student who was skilled either in information technology, visual communication technology, office technology,
Yes.
or marketing, and helped them with real needs, real time, right in their workplace.
Yeah.
So we are hoping to expand that much more in the coming years.
Great. Now, tell me about the training that goes into for your job. You do a lot of different things in working with the budget, the community, with the school, just everybody. So what's the career path for becoming executive director for the foundation?
Well, that's a great question. I could ask you what's the career path for becoming a long-serving senator. It is somewhat circuitous. I think what has made me successful is the fact that I have a diverse background, and I have actually started out my career a long time ago as a chemical dependency social worker. And so while I am no longer a social worker, I like to say I still have a little of the social worker in my heart. But being able to work with people, to listen to them, to build trusting relationships, to be able to help them see how their actions could be better aligned with their values and motivate them to take action is really, what I think a person needs to be successful in a role like my own. And I also have had the benefit of a Master's of Business Administration, so I have a little bit of the heart and soul and the business all melded together.
Okay. Were you raised in the area? Or what was the path to Century?
Yeah, well, I live in the East Metro, and I've lived there for over 20 years, and so I love the East Metro area and the resources of the community. But I did go to high school in Bloomington, and before that I lived in Michigan till I was 16, and my father then got a job working in downtown St. Paul, so we moved to Minnesota.
Okay. So what was your first exposure to Century College?
Well, my first exposure to
Or
Century,
Lakewood.
Yeah, Lakewood. Actually, my first exposure was when my son, who was in high school, took a class that had dual credits, Century College credits and high school credits.
Yes.
And got a certificate in the mail saying he had earned credits at a college while he was in high school. And so I have to admit that I didn't know too much about Century, and since I've discovered more about it, of course, over the last number of years, I have been astonished at what resources and programs and classes. I mean, if you wanted to take a class in beekeeping or CPR or computer technology,
yes,
you name it, Century has it.
Yeah. Very responsive to the community and
Yes.
needs that are out there, and so yeah, I've always been impressed with the offerings. Each of my 5 kids went through Century as a part of their journey, and it's always been a successful experience. So good.
I was just talking to a student last week, Chuck, and she actually went to another 4-year college in the state, had an okay experience, maybe mediocre, came to Century just to take a CPR class.
Yes.
And it was very positive. And then she took another class in what she called medical terminology, and that was interesting. So next thing you know, she was working full-time, then she went part-time, started working part-time as a student, and now another year later she's a tutor in chemistry. She's taking organic chemistry. She's on a whole new career path where she wants to be a physician, and she has had just positive experience after positive experience at Century that have really transformed her life. So it's a place where people, I think, can be transformed, and people can discover new career paths.
Well, how fulfilling is that?
That is pretty darn fulfilling.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate all that you're doing at the foundation, to the board of directors, to people like John Luger that have the legacy continue. We are available, whatever further we can do at the state legislature for supporting the college. We know it will help transform lives, provide jobs, and the assistance of the foundation is going to even provide more assistance for that. Any concluding remarks you'd like to share, Joe?
Well, I just think that the way the world is going today, we need all the help that we can get. And that we're tremendously grateful to the state legislature for the support. And I think Century is a place that is going to continue, has been, is now, and will continue to help transform lives through the power of education and access to new and exciting careers.
Jill Greenhalgh, thank you so much for your service, and thank you to the foundation.
Okay, thank you, Senator.
And viewers, if you have questions about the various activities, like to get involved, give a gift, perhaps something in your will, please check that out at Century. They care so much about our area's future. If you have questions of me, give me a call. My cell phone is 651-770-0283. For your Capital What's Up, I'm Chuck Wiger. Thank you very much for watching.